What's up, everybody? It's Danny Green here. My co-host Harrison Sanford back to you with more insight the Green Room. Brought to you by Jack in the Box. First and foremost, let's get to it, Harrison. Where the hell are you?
Well, I'm home right now, so I'm trying to dress up my background a little bit. Mom's birthday is today, so I had to come back and celebrate. Wish I was
Ah,
in the bubble. This is 2020. You know,
no,
it's
you don't.
all different. I actually do want to reference a story that you and I have uh, about my mother. It was in
Happy
our, I
birthday,
think it
moms.
was,
First, happy
I think,
birthday, moms. We'll sing to her like the wallpaper in the background. Second, you don't wish you were in the bubble, but yeah, I appreciate you saying that. But go ahead, let's do the background story.
we had one of our first episodes within the first five or six. There was a story that we told about the party I had in my house before I went off to college.
In the
Do you
basement.
remember that? In
Is
the
this the
basement.
basement?
Well,
Okay. I
that's a
do.
tease.
Okay, I
That's a
do
tease.
recall. I do
Don't.
recall that.
That's a tease. We're not going to give it away just yet. But for Lakers fans or basketball fans or fans all over who are or our audience who's watching or listening, we have Jeanie Buss coming on later in the episode to talk about all things Lakers and Kobe and as they try to get their 17th NBA championship. But of course, Danny's a man of his word. If the Lakers win, we do a show. So that's what we're doing now. And if the Lakers win, they also take pictures,
Hmm.
particularly after winning the Western Conference Finals. Now, if you're a Lakers fan or a basketball fan and you were perusing through social media last night, you happen to see Lakers photos, them celebrating the Western Conference Championship. But Danny, you were nowhere to be found.
I was not
What's
in
the
the picture.
deal?
Neither was AC, Alex Caruso. Me and Alex were the first two guys that they chose to go out there and do media right away. So as guys were taking pictures and celebrating and listening to music, we weren't able to be a part of all that. So we missed the good pictures and so on and so forth. But I said at the same time, I love Western Conference Finals and winning and that trophy. But to me, I've been lucky enough to be to a couple of Western Conference Finals and I'm excited about it. But I'm more excited when I win the big trophy. So I'm looking forward to that one. Not saying that this doesn't matter, but it's not as a big of a deal. But if I was there with my teammates, I definitely would celebrate. I would have definitely taken some pictures. I did get a picture with Coach though. Coach Vogel came over and took a selfie with me. I think it's for his
Nice.
memories with the family and everything like that. But I did miss the big photo ops. But if we get it done, I will be sure to not miss the next photo ops.
Yeah. Well, you have a reason to be mad. Well, you're not really mad, but you get kind of mad at your teammates for being like, hey, where's AC? Where's Danny? Hold on, wait a second. Um,
Yeah, I looked at it, I was like, damn, really? That's what y'all doing? Take pictures without your boy. And I was like, let me see who else is missing. I'm like, all right, make sure I'm not the only one missing. So I'm like, all right,
yeah.
AC's not in there. I think maybe one other people. But yeah, I was like, okay, I'll live with it. But damn, come on, man.
Yeah. Well, here's another reason why you have to be mad at least some of your teammates. So I saw well, first of all, I'm going to congratulate you on a couple of things.
Thank you.
You've made it to number 15 all time in playoff threes.
I've just been around a
That's a
long
good
time, but
look.
thank you. Yeah, I've been
That's a
around
good
for a while.
look. Wow. And then you had that two blocks against Nikola Jokic in game five that helped seal the victory for you guys in the series. You didn't go up any further in terms of like the block numbers, in terms of passing anybody notable. But
Mhm.
you are, did you know this? You are number 4 in guards all time in playoff blocks. Wade number 1, 175. Michael Jordan number 2, 158. Who did I write here? Oh, sorry, Kobe. My handwriting is terrible.
Mhm.
Kobe with 144, and then you're number 4 with 107. Did you know that?
I'm way far behind everyone, but I did not know that. But I have a long ways to
You're
go.
above guys like Michael Cooper and all that. Like you're literally Wade, Jordan, Kobe, Danny Green
Wow,
in
I did
playoff
not know
blocks
that.
all time.
Well, hopefully we keep stacking those blocks up, man, and get a little closer. I doubt I passed any of those guys, but D-Wade was a beast defensively, and those guys stayed athletic for a long time. My athletic peak was very short-lived, so I had to catch the ball before it gets anywhere near the rim of the backboard or catch guys on the ground. So we got to find a way to be, still, I guess, crafty and have a knack of just finding the ball now without having to jump as high. So hopefully I keep making the playoffs and hopefully keep racking up those numbers. And those numbers are just of guys who've been great for a long time. I've just been around for a while and been lucky to make playoff with playoff teams. So yeah, hopefully I can continue to keep stacking those would be great.
I didn't have the time to go through all the math, but you're pretty high too in all time blocks by a guard, regular season plus. playoffs. So that one more stat before we get to the actual stuff.
Mhm.
So this is the reason why you should be mad at some of your teammates, in particular Anthony Davis,
Okay.
Dwight Howard, and JaVale McGee.
Okay.
For 7 years straight, before this season, you were the only player in the NBA with 50 blocks and 73 pointers. Only player in the NBA for 7 years straight. This year, obviously, you hit over 73s, but of course, you didn't get to over 50 blocks because you got Dwight, AD, and
And
JaVale. So they
JaVale,
ruined your streak. You were
what
the
was
only player in the NBA for 7 years straight.
how many did I end up with?
How many blocks?
Yeah.
32.
And does that include that we missed the 19 games of the season? Well, I guess they included yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah,
But you wasn't going to get – you think you
I
would make it
wasn't.
up? Yeah.
Nah, I was at 32, so I had to get 50. I had to get 18 in the last. Yeah, I probably would have came up a little short. But I said, when you, out there in the perimeter, you got those guys blocking all the shots. I mean, gift and a curse, man.
Real quick, we got to get to our interview with Jeanie Buss.
Mhm.
Who slept with the trophy last night? Where's the trophy?
I
Who's
have no
holding the
idea, man.
trophy? How do
I,
dibs work with the trophy? I know
I
it's not the finals trophy, but it's still a damn good Western Conference
for
Finals
sure.
trophy. Where is it? Where's the
I
sign-up
haven't
sheet? What's
seen it
going on?
since I haven't seen it since it left the locker room. I saw it on its way out when I was coming in from media availability. KCP and Quinn, I think, was walking out with it to the first bus, and I haven't seen it since then. So I don't know where it went, where it goes, how they did it. I said I missed the pictures, I missed the photo ops, missed the video.
So did you after the minute you haven't been able to hold it? Nothing.
I haven't been able to touch it, hold it. I haven't taken a picture with it. I mean, not that I was like, I need a picture with this, I need to hold it. And I'm
Small
saying
things.
disrespect it. I'm not saying, I'm not trying to disrespect it at the same time, but I just never got my opportunity. One, two, it wasn't a priority for me. But
Yeah.
it was in it. It was in there while I was zooming in. When I came back out, it was on its way out to the bus, and I haven't seen it since. What's up, everybody? Welcome back inside the green room. We have the one and only special Jeanie Buss. Had a recent birthday recently, so thank you for joining us, taking time out on your special days. I know you probably would be out celebrating. I know it's a pandemic going on, but we're trying our best to give you a nice special birthday gift with a Western Conference Finals trophy. I know it's not what you're used to getting. I know you're used to the big one, but so far we're still working on that one. But how did you celebrate the birthday so far?
Well, it's unusual because normally my birthday, we're not playing basketball. Normally at this time of year, we're getting ready. People are getting optimistic about what training camp's going to look like and what the season's going to bring and doing preview shows. So the idea of having a game on my birthday is completely unusual, but to have a clinching game for the Western Conference Finals was like mind blowing. And it made it exciting, but also very tense. I really couldn't focus on anything other than watching the game, and you guys really, really made me proud, and it will go down as probably my most memorable birthday ever.
Well, I'm glad we can make you proud thus far. We still have some work to do. We have 4 more to get done. But yeah, we had a lot of so a lot of guys are not used to selling their birthdays during the season. We had a lot of bubble birthdays. Quinn just turned 30, Duds, Phil, Keith, and we have the rookies sing to them. They're like, a lot of guys don't want the rookies singing to them, but they're like, I've never gotten a birthday during the season, so I might as well take advantage for it. So when you make it in or when we make it back, we'll be sure to have the rookies sing to you happy birthday, and hopefully we're bringing back the big trophy.
Okay, that would be so adorable. I wouldn't even know. I didn't know that was a tradition to have the rookies sing happy birthday. So I would really enjoy that. But what I really appreciate is how much you guys have, just come together in the bubble. Like the bubble is the most unusual circumstance that anybody could be put through. It is like a human experiment, and it's really brought you guys closer, and the idea that you celebrate your birthdays like a family really resonates with me. I think that's a beautiful thing.
Jeanie, speaking of embracing everything that 2020 has to offer, have you popped in a game as one of the virtual fans, and are you thinking of doing it? And if you could just tell Lakers Nation basketball fans in general, how have you been watching the game? What's the setup? Because obviously everything is different from normal.
Well, the virtual fan wall, I think, was a brilliant idea by the NBA in allowing our fans to participate even from miles, thousands of miles away. I myself have not experienced the virtual wall only because I can't commit to sitting still that long. I would they'd be like, where did Jeanie go? Where's the empty seat? Which, I appreciate. I think some people have dogs, fill the seat while they go to the restroom. But for me, I just have been sitting on my couch, watching the games, jumping up and down, going crazy. And that game-winning shot the other night by Anthony was, I let out a scream that I didn't even know I was capable of. It was just pure joy. And my dog looked at me like, what is happening right now?
Speaking of which, Jeanie, and Danny has alluded to this in previous episodes, he tried to get his dogs in the bubble. I know you guys are both dog owners. Have you guys had discussions? Have you guys seen each other's dogs? Danny, have you brought your dogs to the facility before this whole COVID thing went crazy?
I have not, but being away from for this long, my first question I got from my other dog lovers is, where are you taking Nuke and Giz? Like, what vacation? I mean, they're going with me everywhere I go. So they'll probably be with me at the facility. They'll probably be with me everywhere I drive around LA. Whenever I fly back home to New York or whatever vacations I go on, I'm sure they'll be with me. So you'll be seeing them soon if I ever get a chance to make it back to the facility.
Yeah, I'm happy to dog sit during, just bring them up to my office and I'll watch them while you're practicing or working out, and I would love that. But that was one of the things that, in discussions about going into the bubble, we thought about the sacrifice the players were making, missing out. Like, this amount of time is really substantial when you talk about a pet or even a child grows. So a young child changes, almost on a daily basis, and to be separated like that was a huge sacrifice for the players to make. And they're the heroes here, that they agreed to be put in this situation, not really knowing how it would turn out and what kind of toll it would take on just your mental well-being. And I've really been so amazed at the resilience of our NBA players and the sacrifices that they made to do it.
Yeah, it's been a hell of a ride, a hell of a road this year in 2020, but it's been all worth it so far. Hopefully we can make it continue to be worth it. Well, let's go into a different avenue. Obviously, before I got here last year, you guys got bronze. Obviously, the expectations were to win a championship. Was there anything else outside of those expectations that you saw differently within the franchise that stuck out to you?
When LeBron joined us as a free agent, when you have a talent like his and you are blessed to have him on your team, you have to really make that decision to surround him with the players and give him all the resources so that he can be the best player he can be, and all the rest of the team as well. And I think what Rob Pelinka did in building a roster, which was kind of unusual. And Danny, I have to say thank you. Like, you endeared yourself to me because you were patient as we were signing free agents, and you knew you wanted to come to Los Angeles, and you were willing to wait as things fell into place. And I really appreciate that. And I'm telling you, I'll never stop telling you that. But certainly when you have a player like LeBron, you want to go for it. And I think, it was, building a team through free agency. We made a big trade in acquiring Anthony Davis. We gave up players that we valued very much, young players, but to get somebody like Anthony Davis and the value that he brings to a team, you have to give up great value. So we parted ways with our young core. And then we had to go on the mission of finding a coaching staff that would be the right coaching staff for this team. And I think what Rob did, along with Kurt Rambis and the front office, bringing in the top quality coaches that all brought different things and different perspectives to the team, allowed us to really create a really versatile team. And that doesn't show until you're in the playoffs. That, when you have a roster that can go small, that can go big, and play stellar defense, be creative on the offensive end, those were all the pieces that are really starting to shine as we get deeper and deeper in the playoffs, which was always the goal once we acquired LeBron James.
Well, thank you. No thanks necessary from you. I know I waited, but you guys made a young kid's dream come true. My grandma's been a Lakers fan since before I was born, and to be able to be a part of it and play alongside of Bron and AD and so many other special players and play for some special coaches, I have to give all the thanks. You guys need to thank me for coming there. So it's been a special honor, and it's been well worth it, and so much more fun times ahead, hopefully, knock on wood. But Harrison, I'll let you take the next one away. Go ahead.
Sure. We were all anxiously waiting for Danny to make his decisions. Thankfully, it seemed to have all worked out. But Jeanie, as somebody who's running a team, you understand the value of homegrown talent, and losing players like Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball. They could have they were indeed, the fan base appreciated them, and obviously AD is a different level of player. But how important was it for you to hold on to players like Kyle Kuzma or Alex Caruso, just knowing the nature of fan bases and how they appreciate seeing the development of guys and seeing them, players like Alex Caruso and Kyle Kuzma specifically, on this roster now, and kind of seeing them in this championship moment?
Well, just to give you a little historical background, the Lakers were the first team. At that time, it was called the D League, and we were the first team to decide to buy our own D-League team and develop our own talent. So developing talent is crucial in this day and age in the NBA. So somebody like Alex Caruso was a gem that we were able to find and finesse through our commitment to now the G League. And certainly Kyle Kuzma was somebody that was kind of slept on in the draft, and we were able to get him as he was, a lower round pick. And, in watching him develop, I really appreciate his competitiveness. His first summer league, he was MVP. We won the summer league. And for us, we had kind of been through this dry spell with the Lakers. He was such a bright spot, and I'm so thrilled to watch him to continue to grow. When players are traded, I think that's the hardest part of the business for me. And, I can take you back to when Shaq was traded from the Lakers to the Miami Heat. And, it was tough. And he was, it's something that you have to allow the players to process. And we knew he'd be disappointed, and we knew, that he might make some comments in the moment that, are understandable. But for me, it was about, I will always build that bridge. I will never shut the door. And so, we kind of go by the motto, once a Laker, always a Laker. And so, Shaq went to Miami and won a championship and did great. And I was happy for him. And then when he retired, and my father, Dr. Jeanie Buss, was, not doing well, Shaq called and said that, he wanted to come see my dad and make sure that they were, in a good place. And at that point, he asked that he wanted to make sure that his jersey was retired, that he was remembered as a Laker. And so even though, trades are tough, we always build the bridge back to that relationship. and now our relationship with Shaq is better than ever. He's got a statue at Staples Center. His jersey's on the wall. So you never know how things are going to turn around and come back, and that's really how we operate.
Does Shaq still provide input to you guys in certain scenarios with free agency and trades and those things along those lines? And also, when Kobe was around, rest in peace to Kobe, were those two guys somebody you guys confided in or talked to when it came to picking up free agents or trades or things of that nature? And did Shaq ever put a good word in for me?
Well, not like specifically, but Shaq actually is a part owner, investor in the Sacramento Kings. So there are things that he's not allowed, just from the tampering point of view.
Gotcha.
Certainly, as a member of the media, we know how Shaq feels about certain things, and maybe sometimes we're not on the same page about things, but I sit on the board of his foundation. So, it's always bigger picture. Yes, there's the day-to-day business operations, but there's the global, what the NBA stands for, what the Lakers stand for, about, making, things better in our communities.
Obviously, Jeanie, the Lakers haven't made the finals until now, so it's been 10 years. Considering everything that's happened in this world with COVID and everything that's happened specifically with the organization, how do you process where the team is right now in relation to everything that's happened?
Well, you always start a season with high hopes, but to me, it's been mind blowing. My dream was to make the playoffs, because, the way my dad ran the Lakers, a bad year was not making the playoffs. Like, you have to always be in the conversation. You have to be competitive. And so the idea of getting back into the playoffs was, great. But, then, the whole thing with the shutdown, with the pandemic, and not really knowing what was going to happen next. Again, the resiliency that this team has shown in the bubble, and the commitment to, making the best of a tough situation. The team had worked so hard to be at the top of the Western Conference, to make sure that we would have home court advantage in the first few rounds of the playoffs, and that was completely taken away. That advantage does not exist in the bubble. Everything is so even. The playing field is so even, and it's such a shame that we didn't get the benefit of having that home court advantage, because I think Laker fans are the best fans in the NBA, and we do have a home court advantage, and to think that we are now in the NBA finals without that advantage that we worked so hard for is really a testament to the commitment of this team, because we've seen top seeds, fall by the wayside, but we haven't. And here we are, as projected to be the winners of the Western Conference by the regular season that ended at the beginning of March. I'm really, really so proud, and it's just exceeded my expectations. But, as Danny said, there's work to be done, and you can't take the focus off for a second. Got to stay in the moment and complete the job.
As you're alluding to, in the team trying to finish the job, part of the reason is the impetus for doing that this year is in honor of Kobe Bryant. And Frank Vogel has been vocal about the team doing it in honor of Kobe and players on the team such as Danny and LeBron. And I know there's a segment of Lakers fans that sometimes feel a bit uneasy with that, feeling as though might feel it's too much of a burden for them to kind of carry. As somebody who's running the team, have you ever felt that taking that burden, that weight, was maybe too much for the guys, and maybe it's something they should potentially step back from?
I don't think that was anything that was orchestrated by the front office or the coaching staff. That's completely organic. And I think that's a testament. I know how I felt about Kobe, but the global outpouring of grief at his loss almost was, I had no idea how much he resonated across, every sport and every country. It really is amazing. And I don't think there's any heaviness in that love and admiration for Kobe. And I don't think it, and it's not anything that we manufactured. That can only come from your heart. It's completely organic, and that's just the way it is. And I don't think it is a burden on the players, and I haven't seen it as such.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that we look at it as extra added pressure. It organically happened. And obviously when we do things, we think of him and then do it in honor of him. But we don't want to put any added extra pressure or weight on ourselves. We go in, take it a day at a time, game at a time, possession, quarter at a time, and try to win games. That's just because that's who we were before everything happened, from the pandemic to Kobe. And obviously those things have happened, and us being able to be successful makes those things more special, more meaningful. But so we try to not put too much on ourselves, too much weight or too much extra added pressure, by not going to every game thinking about. But obviously we step on that floor, we're proud to be a Laker. We're proud to play for this organization. And because of guys like Kobe, Shaq, and all those other guys that came before us have played here and left such a great legacy, we're trying to leave our own legacy as well and try to just carry on and make those guys proud. So yeah, I mean, it could be. It depends on how you look at it. But our coaching staff, our organization, our front office has done a great job of not putting that added extra pressure on us and just allowing us to go out there and play freely, but knowing what comes with putting on a Laker jersey. And that's part of being, representing Kobe and those other guys before us.
And what I want people to understand is that special jersey, the black jersey with the number 2 for representing Gianna and the number that she wore when she played, that jersey was designed by Kobe. That jersey was going to be part of our season, and it wasn't something that we just pulled out of, let's quickly do a Kobe jersey. That was the plan all along. And as it turns out, it's been the most popular jersey, from what I understand. And Danny, I haven't heard from you.
For sure, everybody's been asking me for
love wearing it. It's really because he did design it.
Oh no, he definitely designed a great. It feels really nice. The texture, the material. A lot of us are joking, like, I think he left some of his DNA in this thing. How well we've been playing. Hopefully we continue to play well. But the feel of it is unbelievable. So he designed the perfect jersey, very breathable. And I said, obviously the aesthetics of it, everybody wants to try and buy one. Like, where can I find it? Where can I get it? And I'm like, can I have yours? Nope. I'm not giving you my Kobe, not my Kobe jersey. But yeah, speaking of Kobe and the community and people around us, not just in Los Angeles, because he was all over the world. He's not even just in our country. A lot of fans, a lot of people, close ones, wanted to comfort his close ones, and particularly reach out. Have you been able to keep in contact with his family during the pandemic? And what are some ways that people on the outside can look to support, or to show there's love and comfort to his close ones and his loved ones?
Well, we have always looked at, when Kobe retired and we got a chance to celebrate him in his last game, we retired his jerseys and celebrated him then. But really, his birthday being August 23rd, 8/23, and remembering him on his birthday, then the next day, 8/24, has become Mamba Day. And that it's kind of one of those things that's grown organically. And people honor him by, doing the things that he stood for, which was, working hard, doing your best, leaving everything out, like pushing yourself and your effort. And I think that 8/24 has become something that we can all look to celebrate and remember Kobe, and bring out our inner Mamba. And I got this for my birthday from my friend Linda Rambis, and it's a snake ring that now I can wear every day and reflect on Kobe. And I think Laker fans everybody has their way of expressing their love of Kobe, and I can't tell you how many people have experienced a life change because of what Kobe stood for, and knowing he was always going to outwork everybody. And we can all find that place in ourselves and challenge ourselves to be that person and connect with the Mamba inside of us.
For sure. And one of the things that the players have had to do on top of, representing the Lakers brand correctly and obviously doing things in memory of Kobe, is another, I guess it's become more prevalent now more than ever, is just standing for things which they believe are right, but as it relates to social justice. And I think Danny and I would commend you and a bunch of the ownership groups across the NBA for what they've done in terms of empowering people to vote and opening up arenas to be voting places. Voting facilities rather yet. Can you go into that decision making and how your team and the organization has approached this hectic time as it relates to social justice matters?
I think we were all, at our breaking point, watching George Floyd, over and over again die in front of us. And it was a call to action. And I think it's, a long time in coming. And, I think people in a position like me, it's important to educate ourselves and understand what this movement is all about. And as the NBA has always been at the forefront of, standing for things that are right, and believing in a better world. This was our moment and our call to action, and certainly voting, making it easier for people to vote by opening Staples Center as a polling place, along with Dodger Stadium and along with other places that Laker employees are volunteering to help man, so that we can get everybody has an opportunity to vote. But that it doesn't end there. It's not just about November 3rd. It's about understanding all the process of how our political system works, especially legislatively. And we were able to participate in helping a bill pass the California State Senate, which allowed, there's opportunities for inmates to volunteer to be firefighters, and California is experiencing some of the worst wildfires we've ever had. And inmates are trained on how to fight fires, but yet when they are released from prison and have served their time, they can't get a job as a firefighter. And that seemed to not make any sense. So we tried to illuminate this bill that was in front of the California State Senate, and it passed a few weeks ago. And I am, when you see things like that, every opportunity there is to make change, we have to embrace it, and we have to be active, and we have to educate ourselves and know what's going on in our systems, because people can change how things operate. This is a democracy. So people need to exercise their rights and be heard. Everyone has a voice. Every vote counts.
Definitely. I agree. And I have to speak on behalf of everybody in our organization, all the players, not just in our organization, but throughout the whole league, on commending you and thanking you for speaking up on the owner's side on behalf of supporting the players and what we were trying to do when things stopped here, when Milwaukee took a stand and protested the games. We all took a protest. we had that meeting. I was there in the call and heard everyone speak, and you were one of the ones to speak up, and it made me very proud to be a part of this organization. And just said, letting us know that you guys had our backs and that were supporting us and whatever we were trying to do and get some things done. So thank you for that, Harrison.
I think that's pretty much it, Danny. Unless we don't, I don't know if I do want to talk about a potential celebration. I know you can't talk about that.
There's no celebration in here. It's more like as if there's going to be a parade, you mean?
I'll ask the question. So some Lakers fans, Jeanie, are wondering what would potentially happen. Now, Danny can't talk about this because he's focused on the current matters. What would potentially happen if the franchise was able to win another NBA title? Usually, that would mean a parade in downtown LA, at least. But obviously, that's different. I'm sure there must be some type of initiatives or some type of discussions that are preliminarily being had in the event of such.
Well, Phil Jackson used to say, before you get ahead of yourself, if we are so fortunate as to win a championship, I think that, I think the Laker fans need to rest assured if we are ever in that position, we will have something that everybody can feel that connection to the team and to celebrate safely, because as you said, we are in a pandemic and large gatherings are prohibited, and we want to keep everybody safe. But yet, this really is for the fans. Laker fans, we feel disconnected from our team, and hopefully we'll be able to celebrate. And even no matter what happens, we want to celebrate this team because they've really given us so many moments of joy this season in what has been a very depressing time for all of us, going through so many different things.
Yeah, and that 17th championship would also have some historical impact as well. So a wonderful opportunity in front of Danny and the guys.
For sure. But we won't count our eggs before they hatch. So
For sure.
Worry about that, cross that bridge when we get there. We'll worry about celebrating when we make it happen. So we have to make it happen first. But Jeanie, thank you so much. This has been a pleasure. It's been an honor. So thank you for everything, for supporting the players, to being here, to making all of us feel comfortable and at home, even though we're first year. A lot of guys here for their first year. And instead just standing up for what's right within our community, and instead just making things so much easier, not just for our organization, but for players around the league. So thank you, and happy belated birthday. Hope it's a good one. Hopefully we can bring you a better gift soon enough within the next 2 or 3 weeks. And hopefully we'll see you in the next couple of weeks where we're still in good spirits.
Thank you. And you guys inspire me, and I'm proud of your partners in standing up for things that are right. And, hopefully we'll see you soon.
What's good? We're back with more Inside the Green Room with Danny Green. I'm Harrison Sanford. You just heard or saw our interview with Jeanie Buss. Before we talk about the Miami Heat and that, I guess it would be the third time you're seeing them in the finals, Danny, I do want to reflect, and as we alluded to in our first segment, I do want to reflect on the time that you spent as a team discussing the Breonna Taylor verdict, or how that kind of played itself out, at least for now. Rajon Rondo, having played basketball at the University of Kentucky, being from Louisville, I'm sure you guys have spoken about how it impacted him. And so if you could take us inside some of those huddles, some of those team meetings, and how that was handled.
Yeah, well, briefly, man, we have a group chat, and when the verdict was about to happen, Bron Tech's group, it's coming out. The verdict's about to come out in about 5 minutes. Turn to channel 13. That's what it's on. And the verdict came out, and everybody right away let their feelings be known. And this was before we could actually talk to the media about it. But guys were not happy, upset. This is not cool. It's not okay. Bullshit. Except those things. And we had a chance. We didn't really get a chance to be brief before we talked to the media about it. We just I didn't want to say anything crazy. I just said it's not enough. We're not happy with it. We want more justice. We're still fighting for it. We're not giving up hope. And then we had, as a team, the next day, talked about it in the meal room. And we just want to let Rondo, that we were here for him, whatever he needed his support, because we know it's in his backyard. Bron made it be known. Look, Coach first addressed it. Said he was a little, I guess, not as empathetic or sympathetic as he wanted to be because he's thinking about basketball and the loss, and he wanted to bring it to our attention and how we felt about it, what's going on, and let us know, that the organization, he's there for us. And then Bron said, we want to make sure that we're thinking of Doe, and because this is his backyard, we know it hits home for him more than, closer to him than anybody else in this room. Obviously, we're all feeling it, but it said when it's in your hometown, when it's in your backyard, it's going to hit you a little differently. So, we briefly came together, let Doe know we had his back, and that, we're still obviously focusing on basketball, but we're trying to figure out ways to fight the times and make things better outside of this bubble and instead in our communities for when we leave here and while we're here. So.
Yeah, it's a trying time. I think a lot of people in the Black community were not surprised. I think people, it just in general, are starting to understand that it's not a surprising result, even though we want a lot of people would want a different result. I would just ask all of us to be very aware and be educated as much as we can, and be as level-headed as reasonably possible, because I envision that these times over the next month or so could be very tumultuous, just because we're getting really close to election. But hope everything kind of works. Hope everything turns out well, and I hope the proper change takes place. But I hope level-headedness prevails across both sides. With that being said, let's talk about some basketball for a little bit. You've been in the bubble for how long now? What, 3 months?
Yeah, about that, man. It's probably exactly 3 months coming up in about another week or so. Yep.
Oh, okay. You have any Big Face coffee yet?
No Big Face coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker. But if I was a big coffee drinker, I probably would get some Big Face coffee.
He's charging like Jimmy's charging like $15, $20 a cup for that Big Face coffee.
I'm a frugal guy and I am cheap, but I would have to at least try it. You know what I'm saying? Just like, and what was the movie? It was a $5 shake back then. It was an expensive shake. You know what I'm talking about? No, you don't. You don't watch it.
Dan, you know I don't know. I'm just nodding my head. Like, okay.
Pulp Fiction.
Oh, I know Pulp Fiction. Yes.
Well, John Travolta goes in and he's playing his role, and they go to a restaurant. He's taking out Marcellus Wallace's wife out, and she wants to order a shake. He goes, "It's a $5 shake. How much? What the hell? How's this a $5 shake? Why does a shake cost $5? I want to know what it tastes like. I gotta order one just to see what it tastes like."
Yeah.
So I gotta get a $20 coffee just to see what it tastes like. And I said, I'm a Jimmy. Jimmy's a good friend. Like, we're all fraternity brothers. So, fan of him. We've known each other for some years, competed for some years. Love the way he plays, how passionate. And as a person, he's a great dude, man. So you cannot be a fan of Jimmy. So everybody said it's cool with Miami and Jimmy, and a big fan of him. So I think any of the coffee drinkers, if they were part of the team, they would definitely support the Big Face coffee.
For our Inside the Green Room fans, or our newer fans, this will be the third time Danny's playing against the Miami Heat. In our very first episode, Danny relived what happened the night they lost as a member of the San Antonio Spurs. They lost to the Miami Heat, and how he ended up in the club, and how he ended up seeing LeBron, and he ended up seeing Drake. We are not going to go through that story now. We're going to if you want that story, which I thought was damn funny, you have to go to the very first episode in our catalog. It's only in audio format. That's 2 years ago we did that. Over 2 years ago now we did that episode. It's crazy. Wow. Yeah, I know. So I'm going to say some statements as if I was a Heat fan, right? Okay. Or if I was leaning towards the Heat, and I just want your response. Mm-hmm. Bam Adebayo is the best defensive option for Anthony Davis in the league.
I wouldn't disagree. I mean, so there's obviously the reason why they're in the finals. They're the top team in the East, and that kid is balling. He's great. He's very athletic. He can do multiple things. There's not many people that can guard Anthony Davis. I don't think there is anybody who can guard Anthony Davis. But if you were to pick somebody as the best option or the best chance at giving him, some type of resistance, you'd have a guy that's able to guard his foot speed, quickness, because most bigs are too slow, most fours are too small. And Bam is a strong enough kid and quick enough to be mobile to be able to, I guess, stick with him a little bit. I don't know. We'll see how that matchup goes. I'm not gonna say that he can't guard him or say that he won't guard him or that he will guard him well. But I think he has the capabilities and potential because of his build and makeup. You need a bigger guard. He's built like a big guard, and that's how AD is built. So those are the only people I'd say have the best option. And also, he's on the best team in the East right now. So why would you not choose one of the best defensive players on the best team in the East to guard Anthony Davis? But I do think that we have an advantage with LeBron and Anthony Davis on any night, given night, playing against anybody, whether the best defensive option or not. Those guys are the greatest in the world at what they do for a reason, and you still know what they're going to do, and you can't stop it. And that's why they're so special. So regardless of who we're playing, I think we have an advantage and a mismatch on either one of those guys.
A Heat fan might say is this. We played the zone, or we employed the zone very well to a great level of success against the Celtics in the earlier part of the series. I think we can do that again against the Lakers.
Possibly, man. We'll see how that goes. We haven't played against the zone in a while. I'm sure we'll go over it. We'll script it. We'll figure out how to attack it. Regardless, we don't want to give them a chance to play the zone. And the only way we do that is to get stops and push the pace. The only way they can get set up in the zone is they keep scoring baskets and slowing the game down. We know it's our advantage is pushing the pace, getting on the break, but also getting stops. We have to use our defense to be able to, make some of our offense happen. And if it doesn't happen that way, then it slows down. We have to figure out how to do it, and we got to shoot better, and we got to find ways to attack it. Use our bigs inside, AD inside, lobs, attack, penetrate, and find kickouts. So I'm sure they'll go man to man. They have some good pieces to do that as well. But it's going to be a chess match with the coach. That's what the coaches get paid to do, and we figure it out. But we have to make sure that we're ready on all aspects and all categories of what we're supposed to do as players.
I'm sure it must be a comforting thing for you to have gone through Trailblazers series, then go through the Rockets series, and go through the Nuggets series, and we see these changes that the coaching staff makes, and we see it work, and we see how once it clicks, series over, game, set, match. I'm sure that's like very encouraging to know, like, hey, whatever you draw up, coach, I'm gonna run with it. I mean, that's what championship teams do for sure. But but I'm sure it must be encouraging to see defensive game plans get altered and it works out to the benefit of the team.
Definitely. We figure it out though. End of the day, we figure it out as a group. But at the same time, it may not go like that. Just because it happened in one series doesn't mean it's going to happen in another. A lot of times, and I've seen in the past, we make an adjustment, then the team makes an adjustment to our adjustment. Then it's like, all right, might be going back and forth. We just so happen to make the proper adjustments to where it's worked, and the teams weren't able to, I guess, readjust to something better, or to where it worked, or counter adjust to make us kind of scramble around. And usually you make adjustments when you're losing. So we've been able to win games and learn at the same time. Even though we have lost game ones of the first two series, we'll be able to win games and learn. And if they adjust, we still end up figuring out to be able to win the game at least. To where they can't continue to keep that adjustment going. They figure like we have to find a different angle. We have to do this, we have to do that. So instead of maybe it goes different from series to series, but fortunate enough for us, the adjustments we had made have been good, and they've worked throughout the games so that, through the rest of the series.
I'm sure there's a segment of Lakers fans who are somewhat disappointed that it's not the Boston Celtics. To be able, if you guys win, it's the 17th championship for the franchise. It puts you on the even playing field, so to say, at least, with the Boston Celtics into the titles, even though some people might feel as if the Lakers' dominance throughout multiple decades makes them the better franchise overall, regardless of number of titles. But, I know for you personally, potentially, and maybe for LeBron personally, potentially, because of his previous affiliation with the Heat, for you, obviously you're excited to play in the finals, but do you feel like this? Obviously you're in the bubble, so it's special in that sense, but what thoughts go through your mind when you think about playing in the NBA finals, specifically against the Miami Heat? Obviously 2013, you have this record-breaking finals three-point shooting performance, but you lose because of LeBron, and then you win the next year, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're up. It means you're even with them. Pretty
much. And that's kind of what comes to mind, part of it. Obviously, there's some good memories there. And obviously, I feel like I let one slip away. We let one get away from us. But it was still LeBron. It's a totally different team, totally different, I wouldn't say franchise organization, but just a totally different foundation or group there now. But still, at the end of the day, it's one of those, it's a team that I've faced a couple of times, and so I let one slip away, and I don't want to let it happen again. You come this far, you stay in the bubble this long. It's going to be a long fall of saying it, because usually it's summer, but it's gonna be a long fall if you come up short. And last thing I want to do is be going home frustrated from a whole damn off season, thinking about what I could have done better, what I should have done better, and what I need to do, and just put my body through, my mind through that type of frustration or pain or work because I'm frustrated because I want to be better for next year. That 2013 summer was a hell of a long summer until we got back to 2014. I don't know if my mind, body, or spirit or soul can handle that type of frustration through an off season, especially when it's a quick turnaround. But yeah, you think about all those things, and you said come this far, you got to make it happen now.
One quick thought. I know you're not going to give away the scout, but what type of challenge does somebody, and you've played against the Warriors, and I'm not saying that Duncan Robinson is a member of the Warriors or Clay or Steph Curry, but he does remind me in the sense of there's so much actions that they run for him to get a shot up. What type of challenge could he present? Obviously, a lot of people know Goran Dragic, a lot of people know Jimmy Butler, but I feel as if Duncan Robinson could potentially blow open a game with his three-point shooting and the way that he doesn't hesitate in taking shots that might seem bad but are good for him.
Just like you said, man, treat him like he's a Golden State member. Obviously, we're not trying to disrespect Steph and Clay, but at the same time, you got to respect this kid. This kid, even though he's young, he's a rookie, whatever, he's doing similar things. You have that appropriate fear, and he's playing like he's one of those guys. He's a very elite shooter, can get open. Spo runs some great stuff to him to get open. So you better be sure and mindful of where he's at all times on the court and not let him see any type of daylight, because he can change the series. And as you've seen tonight, he made some big shots against Boston. Iggy made some big shots. They have some players that can change the whole game. For me, in my mind, I think the X factors are the two main factors that we want to slow down is Bam and Goran. Those guys have been leading them throughout the play. Obviously, Jimmy is their main leader, floor speak, vocal guy. But scoring-wise, offense end of the floor, Bam and Goran, those guys have been running through. They've kind of been the leaders of the offense, or running things through them. If we slow them down, I think we give ourselves a pretty good chance. And offensively, we just have to score. We have to figure out to push the pace and score.
So I looked at the schedule. For the most part, it kind of starts out the same way. You play a game, you get a day off, you play. And I think around game 4, you might get 2 days off or so. Just in general, how do you – it's going to be a new finals in that sense too, because sometimes you'll have like 3 days off during the finals usually, and you were just in them last year. How do you feel? I'm sure you looked at the schedule. How do you feel about it and approaching it?
I haven't seen the schedule. I looked at.
Oh, you haven't?
I've looked at it briefly. It just came out, so I looked at it briefly. I know I just figured we play every other day, so that's what I'm prepared to do. If we have a couple days in between, even better. But we're gonna attack it one game at a time, like we always do. One possession, one quarter at a time. We want to win the first possession, the first quarter. We want to win game 1. We want to win game 2. Obviously, it may not go that way as smoothly, but we make adjustments, figure it out. But we've been here long enough. We don't want to be here any longer than we don't have to be. So we want to win, just like we win any other series, and try to do it as quickly as we can, so we can get back home. Obviously, respect them. It's a great team. It's a good ball club. We know we're not going to expect to sweep anybody, but that's always the goal. We want to win every game and every time we step on the floor.
All right, Danny. Good luck. Do your thing. Hopefully, you keep on moving up these stats. Hopefully, you add another title to your resume.
That's the most important. Stats, don't worry, but the winning is more important than anything. Stats will come.
I'll ask you one question that I know your close friends ask you before we go. What's better than 2-time?
3-time.
Yes, indeed.